Hey guys, remember that when you add numbers multiple times, it's actually just multiplication, and I'm going to show you exactly how and why that works. So for example, if we have 3 plus 3, we're adding 3 twice, so we can change that to 2 times 3. Again, that's exactly what multiplication is. We have two 3's being added, so therefore it's 2 times 3. Same thing with 4. If we have two 4's being added, it just becomes 2 times 4. If we have two negative 7's being added, it just becomes 2 times negative 7. If we had any two numbers, call them a, and we added them, they would just be 2 times a, which becomes 2a. Remember, 2a means 2 times a. Okay, so let's look at three numbers. If we have 6 plus 6 plus 6, since it's being added 3 times, we could change it to 3 times 6. Remember, multiplication is just multiple addition. Sometimes I wonder why they didn't just call it multiple addition or multiplication or something. Anyway, it's called multiplication. If we added 1/2 3 times, that's the same as multiplying 3 times 1/2. 2.7, which is a decimal, works the same way. We added it 3 times, so it's 3 times 2.7. Again, in general, any number, square root of 7, 400, negative e, I, whatever, if we add a number 3 times, it just becomes 3 times that number, which is just 3a. 4 works the same way. 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 is just 4 times 10. 1 added 4 times is 4 times 1. Negative 7 added 4 times is 4 times negative 7. In general, if you add a number 4 times, it's the same as 4a, right? 4 times a. Same thing as if you add that number 5 times. Remember, a stands for any number. So if you add any number 5 times, it's the same as 5 times that number. Or even 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is just 6a. And in general, and this is kind of the hardest one for a lot of people to understand, let's say you add it n times. So if you add it 100 times, it could be n, or if you add it 50 times, n would be 50. If you add it however many times, notice that that number of times you add it was the number that came out in front of the a. So if you added it 4 times, it was 4a. If you added it 5, it was 5a, just like in these specific examples. In general, the number of times you add it, n, goes out front, and then the a comes second. The name of this lesson is Adding Variables. Variable is just another way of saying variable number. Remember, variable number is a number that changes, and we can just call it a variable. So, a plus a gives you 2a, or in general, if you add a in number of times, it's na. This is very important because we do this a lot in math. So what would x plus x plus x be? Well, how many times is it being added? 1, 2, 3. Therefore, this should be 3x. Very simple, right? Next one. We have y plus y plus y plus y plus y. It's being added 5 times. Therefore, the answer is 5y, or 5 times y. Again, we don't write the multiplication sign, but there is a little dot there which represents multiplication in the middle. Okay. xy, although it is a number, but it's also two numbers being multiplied, which gives you a number. But anyway, you have 2 of them being added. So if it's being added twice, even though it's xy, not just x, if it's xy, it's being added twice, then it's 2xy. Pretty simple. So it doesn't matter how complicated the expression is. Even if it was like xyz and you added it twice, it would be 2xyz, so on and so forth. Okay, now we're adding 4 police cars, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're multiplying the police car by what? You're adding it how many times? 4, right? So the answer is 4 police cars. It's real simple, okay? And that's something we're going to do today, is show you that when you add variables, the number of times you add them becomes the number out front.